A simple random sample of 25 filtered 100mm cigarettes is obtained, and the tar content of each cigarette is measured. The sample has a mean of 13.2 milligrams, and the standard deviation has a standard deviation of 3.7 milligrams. We're going to use a 0.05 significance level to test the claim that filtered cigarettes have a tar level below 14.6 milligrams. That happens to be the tar level of unfiltered cigarettes. So what do these results suggest about the effectiveness of the filters? So first of all, identifying the claim, we want to test the claim that filtered cigarettes have a tar level below 14.6. So that is, mean will be less than 14.6. The opposite then, the opposite of less than, is greater than or equal to. So now to identify the null hypothesis, think about which one has the equal to sign in it, in this case the opposite. So that means our claim will correspond to the alternative hypothesis, and our opposite will correspond to the null hypothesis. So our null hypothesis, of course, is the mean equals 14.6, but since the alternative is less than, we know we're dealing with a left tail test. So now let's calculate the test statistic for this sample. The mean from my sample, my X bar, was 13.2 milligrams. Mu, in this case, or the population or assumed milligrams, tar level rather, is 14.6, which we can get from the null hypothesis. S in this case, of course, is 3.7 milligrams, and N, we sampled 25 filtered cigarettes. So throwing all this into the calculator, we get a test statistic of negative 1.892. So let's identify the p-value now. First of all, since we have a negative test statistic, but the t-distribution sheet has only positive t-scores, we're going to consider our test statistic to be positive when we're looking it up, but keeping in mind that it's actually negative. So we had a sample size of 25, which means I'm going to be in the row 24, degrees of freedom, and I want to know where my test statistic would fall. And since the positive version is somewhere between 1.71 and 2.06 in this row, then I can say that the p-value is somewhere between 0.025 and 0.05. And notice I'm looking in the area in one tail because this is a left tail test, not a two tail test. So my p-value is somewhere between 0.025 and 0.05. So since the p-value is less than the significance level of 0.05, keep in mind I don't know exactly what it is, but I do know it's less than 0.05, which is our significance level. So I can reject the null hypothesis. So again, to interpret this, go back to the claim and we can reject the null hypothesis, which in this case means that we can support the claim. So that is, there does appear to be enough evidence to support the claim that filtered cigarettes have a tar level below the mean tar level for unfiltered cigarettes, which is 14.6 grams. So based on our sample, it does look like the filters have some effect on the amount of tar level that gets into the lungs.